Hello there everyone, welcome to Edupedia World 9th Grade Computer Applications Video Lecture Series. I'm Upeka Vendibona and here we are come with another episode for Java questions, and this time we target on object references. Before moving on, let's revise few things that we have already covered up. These few facts may be useful to answer the questions given in this episode. So you know that variables comes in two flavors, primitive variables and reference variables. When you are declaring a variable, it should include a type and a name. If we take the primitive variables, the value of the primitive variable is the bits representing the value. For example, if we take the primitive variable byte that have the value 7, it actually got the bits 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. So each of the values presented in here are stored as a bit pattern. But for a reference variable value, it is the bits that represent a way to get to an object on the heap. If you don't have any idea what we are talking in here, you can watch the episode we have created for object references and then come back to this episode, because it is necessary to have that basic understanding of object references. Now the next point is a reference variable has a value of null when it is not referencing any object. But later you can assign another new object to the same reference variable that got the null value. In the previous episode for the object references, we metaphorically said the reference variable is like a remote control. Using the dot operator on a reference variable, it is like pressing a button on the remote control. If the methods and instance variables got the accessible access modifier, we can access them using this dot operator. Up to this episode, we had also covered up the Java arrays, both primitives and the object. So an array is always an object even if the array is declared to hold the primitives. There is no such a thing as primitive arrays, only an array that holds the primitives. Okay, now we are ready to start the first exercise. In this exercise, you are given two source files and you have to tell us the output. There might be some errors. If so, you have to fix them and tell us the output. And now there is a condition. You cannot use the Java virtual machine to run these source files. You have to use your brain to get the output. Now don't try to cheat. Even though the file is big, it's really very easy. You just need to move your mind line by line. Now let's start with the source file A. It has two classes, the class books and the class books test drive. Now the books test drive class got the main method and we have to start from there. Now the first statement creates a books array with the length of 3, and in the books class it got two instance variables and both are string type. In the next statement in the main method, it declares and initializes the variable x with the value 0, and in the next statement it tries to assign a string type value for the instance variable title of the object in the 0th index position of the array. Now here comes the problem. Even though we created the array of book references, we didn't create any book objects to assign into that array. Therefore, either in this place or in this place, above these all the statements in here, we have to put this kind of a statement. My books, the 0th index equals new books. With this statement, we assign a new book object to the reference variable in the 0th index position at the array. Now we have to do the same for the index position number 1. My books, index number 1 equal new books. Now same goes to the index position number 2. My books, index position number 2 equal new books. Now tell me, do we need another statement for the index position number 3? Now remember, when we create this array, my books array, we specified it got the length 3. Therefore, it can carry only 3 items, 3 book objects. So we cannot use the index number 3. Only index number 0, 1 and 2 can be used in here. Okay, now these 3 statements should be included in the code segment before the instance variables get a value. Now after having those 3 statements, the book in the 0th index position got the title The Grapes of Java and the author is Bob, and the book in the index position number 1 got the title The Java Gatsby and the author is Sue, and the book in the index position number 2 got the title The Java Cookbook and the author is Ian. Now we have a perfect array. All the 3 references are filled up with book objects that have both the values title and author. Now we have a while loop. The condition is x lesser than 3. Now the value of the x is 0 and the 0 is lesser than 3. Therefore we can go inside of the loop. Inside of the loop, the first statement is a print statement, and inside the print statement it has my books index position x dot title. So it is accessing the title instance variable with the reference object in the x index position. Now the value of the x is 0 and it is accessing the 0th index position object. Now the 0th index position object got the title The Grapes of Java. So in the output you will get The Grapes of Java. Now here it is a print statement, not a println statement. Therefore at the end the cursor will hold in the same line. Now the second print statement got the value by, and this word by will be printed out in the same line of the previous output. Now it also have a print statement, not the println statement. Therefore at the end the cursor will hold in the same line. Now the third println statement got the value the author. That means the 0th index position object's author. So the 0th index position's author is Bob. That means at the output it has The Grapes of Java by Bob. Same line. That's how it displays in the output. Now here it is a println statement. Therefore the cursor will move into the next line. Now at the end it got a expression x equal x plus 1. Now the value of the x is 0 and 0 plus 1 is 1. The new value of the x is 1. Now we have to check the condition again. The new value of the x is 1 and 1 is lesser than 3. Therefore we can go inside of the while loop. Now it is accessing the instance variables of the object in the index position number 1. The title is The Java Gatsby and the author is Sue. So at the output it will print it out in the same line, The Java Gatsby by Sue. And the end of the while loop it got the expression, and this time the new value of the x is 2 because 1 plus 1 is 2. And then again we have to check the condition. The new value of the x is 2 and 2 is lesser than 3, and now it is accessing the instance variables in the index position number 2. So the title and the author of the object in the index position number 2 got The Java Cookbook and the author is Ian. So at the output it got in the same line The Java Cookbook by Ian. Now in the end of the while loop at the expression, the new value of the x would be 3 because 2 plus 1 is 3. Now we have to check the condition again, and this time 3 is not lesser than 3. Therefore it will terminate the while loop. It will not go inside of the while loop. It will go outside of the while loop. Now that's how the output will be displayed. The Grapes of Java by Bob, The Java Gatsby by Sue, The Java Cookbook by Ian. Good. Now let's go for the source file B. The source file B contains a class, Hobbits, and this Hobbits class contains a string type instance variable, the name. And also this class contains the main method. Now let's start from the main method. Inside the main method, from the first statement, it creates a Hobbits array with the length size 3. From the next statement, it declares and initializes the variable z with the value 0. And then it starts a while loop. The condition is z less than 4. Now the value of z is 0 and 0 is less than 4. Therefore, we can go inside of the while loop. In the while loop, it has an expression z equal z plus 1. The value of the z is 0, so 0 plus 1 is 1. The new value of the z is 1. In the next statement, it creates a new Hobbit object and assign it to the reference variable in the z index point of the array. Z index point means the index number 1. To make this more understandable, let's illustrate this array. This is the index position 0, this is the index position 1, and this is the index position 2. And remember, length of this array is 3. Therefore, we cannot have any index position 3 in here. Only 0, 1 and 2 can we have. Now for the index position 1, the object was assigned, and in the next statement, the value Bilbo is assigned to the instance variable name in the object reference of the z index position. So that means in here, the value is assigned to the index position 1. And in the if statement, it checks for the condition z is equal to 1. Now the value of the z is 1, so this will return true. So we can go inside of the if statement, and in there, the new value Frodo is assigned to the same instance variable. So that means we have to cut down the previously assigned value and assign this new value Frodo. And there is another if statement, and the condition is z is equal to 2. As the z value is 1, this will return false. Therefore, we cannot go inside of this if statement. At the end, it got the output statements. The first one is a print statement and the second one is a println statement. Therefore, both of these two parts will be printed out in the same line. From this part, it will output the value Frodo. So at the final output in the first iteration, it would be Frodo is a good hobbit name. Now for the second iteration, we have to check the condition again. Is z less than 4? The value of the z is 1, so 1 is less than 4. Therefore, we can go inside of this while loop. Now at the expression, the new value of the z would be 2 because 1 plus 1 is 2. Now at the next statement, it creates the new object and assign it to the index position number 2. And in the next statement, it assigns the value Bilbo, like as in the previous. And then it checked the condition z is equal to 1. As the value of the z is 2, it will not be true. Therefore, we cannot go inside of the if statement. But in the second if statement, yes, we can go inside of this if statement because the value of the z is 2 and 2 is equal to 2. So in here, we have to cut down the Bilbo value and assign the new value Sam. And now at the print statements, the output will be Sam is a good hobbit name. Now again, we have to check the condition. Is z less than 4? Now the value of the z is 2, so 2 is less than 4. Therefore, we can go inside of this while loop. In the expression, the new value of the z would be 3 because 2 plus 1 is 3. In the next statement, there would be a problem because it is trying to assign the object, the new object Hobbit, to the index position number 3. As the length is 3, we cannot have any index position number 3. Therefore, at this point, there would be a runtime error and you have to fix this. When you analyze this program got two drawbacks. The first drawback is it never accesses the 0th index position. And the other drawback is this while loop should only iterate 3 times, and when each time when it comes to this position, the z value should be either this one or this one or this one, nothing else. The first moment when it becomes another value, for example the value 3, there would be an array index out of bound exception at the runtime. Right, now you know what are the issues in this source file B. Now let's try to sort out the first problem, not assigning anything to the 0th index position. In this program, the variable z is used to present the array index. Therefore, we have to look at how it's declared and initialized. So it's declared as an int variable with the initialization value 0. And that would be the problem in here, because at this point this 0 would become a 1. The new value of the z would be 1 in the first moment. So this z would never be used as an index with a value 0. Now what can we do about it? Yes, if we initialize the variable z with the value -1 in the while loop at the expression, the new value of the z would become 0, because -1 plus 1 is 0. In the next statement, we can assign a new object to the 0th index position, and for the instance variable name, we assign the value Bilbo. And then at the if statement, no, z is not equal to 1, the value of the z is 0, so we cannot go inside of the if statement. And same applies for the second if statement, z is not equal to 2. Now at the end from the print statements, it is trying to access the value of the instance variable name of the object in the 0th index position. So at the output of the first iteration would be Bilbo is good hobbit name. Now for the second iteration, we have to check the condition again. The value of the z is 0 and 0 is less than 4. Therefore, we can go inside of this while loop, and in the expression, the new value of the z would become 1, because 0 plus 1 is 1. And here you can see the same thing would be happened in here for the index position 1, like as we did in the previous time. At the output of this iteration, you can see the statement Frodo is a good hobbit name. And now we have to check the condition again. The value of the z is 1 and 1 is less than 4. And in the expression, the new value of the z would be 2, because 1 plus 1 is 2. And now the same thing would be happen for the index position 2. At the output in this iteration, it would be Sam is a good hobbit name. And now we have to check the condition again. Now the value of the z is 2 and 2 is less than 4. Now we can go inside of this while loop. And here the new value of the z would become 3, because 2 plus 1 is 3. If you can remember, I said previously at this position the z value cannot be 3. So we have to terminate when the z value becomes 3 at this point. So what we have to do is we have to change this condition. So at this point in this iteration, the z value is 2 and in this expression it becomes 3. So if we change this condition as z less than 2, this iteration would never become executed and the z value never get the value 3. Now the code is perfect. The array is fully filled with the values Bilbo, Frodo and Sam, and there are no compile time errors and the runtime errors. At the output you will get Bilbo is a good hobbit name, Frodo is a good hobbit name, and Sam is good hobbit name. For this exercise you are given a source file, the class triangle, and the output when the source file is executed. And both of them contains few blanks. Now what you have to do is fill these blanks. You are also given the things that you can put inside of the blanks, and let's see how to do this. Now in here the class triangle, it contains 3 instance variables: area, which is a double variable, and height and length, which are int type variables. Everything in here are related to the shape triangle. This class contains a main method as well as another method called setArea. Surely this method would set the value for the instance variable area, because in here you can see it assigns the expression height multiplied by length divided by 2. That is how we calculate the area of an triangle. So this blank should be the instance variable area. Now let's go back to the main method. Inside the main method there is a while loop, and inside the while loop there are two print statements. One is a print statement and the other one is a println statement. According to the things that is in the print statements, we can say these four statements in the output are coming from the while loop, and the last statement in the output is coming from the print statements that are outside of the while loop. Now let's try to find out few clues to fill out these blanks. In here you can see a dot operator is used. That means we have to declare a triangle variable in here above these two statements, and also we have to declare and initialize the variable x. By looking at this statement over here, you can see an array is involved in this program, and there is no point of declaring an array inside of the loop. Therefore, somewhere over here the triangle array should be declared. So that is all that we can derive by looking at this program. Now let's see what's are given in the hints. In here you can see there are three statements to create arrays, but in this statement this is wrong because we have to use the square brackets to mention the length, and in this statement this is not an array. So the perfect statement to create a triangle array is to use this one. So in here above the while loop we have to create the triangle array, the TA triangle array. Triangle, the square brackets, and then the variable name TA equals new triangle, and the length is 4 inside of the square brackets, and at the end the semicolon. And surely this blank over here should be trying to assign new triangle objects for each of the triangle array index positions. So now let's see how we can put something like this. So in here there are three statements that you can use for that purpose, but this statement is not suitable because it is assigning the TA array, the full TA array, a new triangle. So this one is not correct, and this one is perfect. It is assigning new triangle object for each of the TA index positions, and this statement is wrong because we cannot access with a dot operator like this. So this statement is the perfect one we can use for that purpose. So in here TA inside the square brackets the variable x, and this variable x represents the index, equal new triangle object. Now all the blanks with the dot operator have this value TA inside the square brackets, the variable x. So in here we can write TAX, and also same goes in here, and also TAX comes inside the print statement. And now we have to think about how to declare and initialize the variable x. As the x should be start from the value 0, in here we have to declare and initialize the variable x with the value 0. And now in this statement at the end of the while loop we have to increment this variable x with the value 1. So in each iteration the x would be 0, 1, 2 and 3. So here x equal x plus 1. Up to now, we assigned a value to the instance variables height and length, but still we didn't assign a value to the instance variable area. So surely this blank space over here should do that task. As we got the values of the height and length of the triangle, we can simply calculate the area of the triangle, and this method over here do that calculation. Therefore, all we need to do is calling this method by using the object in the TAX position. Set area method. And now for the condition in the while loop. Here we only need to iterate 4 times. Index position 0, index position 1, index position 2 and the index position 3. So we have to terminate this while loop when x is becoming value 4. That means x should be less than 4. Now we have a one remaining blank space in the source code. If we look at this print statement, you can see there is a variable called y. There is no declaration of the variable y. Therefore, this blank space belongs to that declaration of the variable y. Now let's go back to our hints. In here, you can see how the variable y should be declared and initialized. So the value of the x is copied into the variable y. So this one is taken in this blank space over here. Int y got the value in the variable x. At the end, the semicolon. Okay, now we have completed the class triangle. Now we have to fill the blanks in the output. So in here, when the value of the x becoming 3, we have to calculate the area. So that means in here the value of the x is 3 and 3 plus 1 is 4 and 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. The height is 8. And for the length, the value of the x is 3 and 4 plus 3 is 7. Now the height is 8 and the length is 7, and 8 is multiplied by 7 and divided by 2. The value is 28. The area is in here would be 28. And now the last statement of the output. The value of the y. In here we assign the value of the x to the variable y. So at the last time the value of the x becomes 4, because if you can remember, we try to terminate this while loop when x becomes 4. So in here y equals 4 and then the comma T5 area equals, and here the value of the area variable T5. Now from this statement we create the reference variable T5 and refer the same object in the index position 2 of the array. Now in the next statement it assigns the value 343 for the instance variable area of the object in the index position number 2 of the TA array. That means the same object that the T5 is referring to. So as it is referring the same object, we got the value in here as 343. And this is what you got at the output. So we have completed the source file as well as the output. And that's all what we got here in this episode. From the next lecture we are talking about Java for loops. Thank you for watching and see you in the next lecture. This video brought to you by edupediaworld.com. Watch more from our website.